The Beatles, arguably the greatest rock band of all time, have been a source of timeless music since their debut in 1960. Their status as everyone's favorite band, however, was threatened in the early 1980s when the music artist Paul McCartney met and collaborated with Michael Jackson. After this encounter, Jackson purchased the Beatles catalog, leaving a bitter taste in McCartney's mouth. This unexpected turn of events left fans wondering about the future of the Beatles' music and McCartney's relationship with Jackson. The question remained, what would become of the Beatles' legacy? In the mid-1970s, an unlikely friendship blossomed between two musical titans, Michael Jackson and the music artist Paul McCartney. This partnership would lead to memorable collaborations and fruitful discussions on music and business. As their bond deepened, they started working together on various projects, producing iconic tracks like The Girl Is Mine and Say Say Say. These tunes became instant classics, captivating audiences worldwide and leaving an indelible mark on popular culture. Apart from creating timeless melodies, these two shared valuable insights during their conversations. For instance, the music artist enlightened young Michael on the importance of owning one's music publishing rights, wisdom that would later prove crucial for the king of pop himself. Music was at the heart of their relationship, serving as both glue and catalyst for many profound dialogues. Their mutual respect and admiration were evident in how freely they exchanged ideas, contributing significantly to each other's growth as musicians and entrepreneurs. This tale of camaraderie serves as a testament to the power of connection and knowledge sharing among artists. Even though their paths diverged over time, the impact of their association continues to resonate within the realms of music history. Indeed, it's fascinating to ponder what might have transpired had they continued to collaborate more closely throughout their illustrious careers. In the mid-1980s, the music artist Paul McCartney shared some valuable advice with his friend, musician Michael Jackson. Paul enlightened Michael on the financial benefits of owning music publishing rights, illustrating his point by showing him a book filled with songs he himself owned the rights to. This form of income had made Paul millions over the years through royalties. The conversation left a significant impression on Michael, who took Paul's advice to heart and began exploring opportunities to acquire music copyrights. In one remarkable instance, Michael ended up purchasing the Beatles' entire song catalog in 1985 during Paul's absence in India. The transaction cost Michael a staggering $47.5 million, making it one of the most expensive acquisitions in the music industry. This acquisition led to tension between the two musicians, causing a rift in their friendship due to Paul feeling betrayed. After all, Michael had essentially capitalized on Paul's wisdom to outmaneuver him financially. Despite the strain in their relationship, both artists continued to make influential contributions to popular music, each leaving behind an indelible legacy of memorable tunes and iconic performances. In the early 1960s, a skiffle band called the Quarrymen was taking shape in Liverpool, England. This group would eventually evolve into one of the most influential bands in the history of popular music, the Beatles. The band consisted of four members: John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr. Long before Michael Jackson made his significant investments in music publishing, the Beatles were already making their mark on the industry. At the time, the Beatles' music was unlike anything else heard on British radio waves. They drew inspiration from various genres, including rhythm and blues, gospel and rock and roll, which they blended seamlessly with their unique style. As the band gained popularity, they became synonymous with the burgeoning youth culture movement that swept across Europe and North America during the mid-1960s. Their sound, fashion choices, and carefree attitudes resonated deeply with young people around the globe. Meanwhile, Michael Jackson was honing his craft as a solo artist after leaving the Jackson 5. Between 1982 and 1984, he began investing millions in acquiring music publishing rights, a move that proved prescient and lucrative. Among the many assets he acquired were the publishing rights to some of Motown Records' biggest hits, along with those from other notable acts like Sly and the Family Stone. But perhaps the most coveted acquisition came when Jackson outbid Paul McCartney for the Northern Songs catalog, which included more than 250 songs written by McCartney himself and fellow songwriter John Lennon. The significance of these acquisitions cannot be overstated. By owning the copyrights to some of the most iconic songs ever written, Jackson ensured a steady stream of royalties for years to come. Meanwhile, the Beatles continued releasing groundbreaking albums throughout much of the 1960s, solidifying their place in musical history. While it might seem like two disparate stories, Michael Jackson's investment strategy and the Beatles' rise to stardom, they share a common thread. Both represent pivotal moments in the evolution of popular music, demonstrating how artistic creativity can intersect with business acumen to produce lasting legacies. In 1957, two young lads named John Lennon and Paul McCartney first crossed paths at a church festival in Liverpool. This encounter would lead to an influential partnership that resulted in the formation of one of the most successful bands in music history, the Beatles. The duo began performing together as part of a skiffle group called the Quarrymen. Over time, they added more members to their lineup, including George Harrison and Ringo Starr, ultimately evolving into the Beatles. However, it was their early years of intense live performances that truly shaped them into a formidable force in the industry. Hamburg, Germany, played a significant role in the Beatles' rise to fame. Between 1960 and 1962, the band made several trips to this bustling city, where they performed in various clubs for hours on end. These marathon gigs honed their skills and transformed them into a tight-knit group with exceptional stage presence. During their stints in Hamburg, the Beatles were exposed to different genres of music, which greatly influenced their sound. They experimented with rock and roll, blues, and soul, incorporating these elements into their own unique style. Moreover, the pressure to perform extended sets forced them to expand their repertoire, learn new songs, and improve their musicianship rapidly. Upon returning to Liverpool after their Hamburg experiences, the Beatles found themselves welcomed by adoring fans who had heard rave reviews about their electrifying performances. Their local popularity skyrocketed, setting the stage for their eventual global domination. Without those grueling yet formative years in Hamburg, the Beatles might not have achieved the same level of success. Those experiences helped forge their identity as a band and prepared them for the challenges ahead. Through sheer determination and countless hours spent perfecting their craft, the Beatles became a cultural phenomenon that continues to captivate audiences worldwide. And all of this can be traced back to the partnership between two ambitious teenagers, John Lennon and Paul McCartney. Their chance meeting set off a chain reaction that left an indelible mark on music history. Indeed, great things can emerge from humble beginnings. Furthermore, managed by Brian Epstein and produced by George Martin, the Beatles made a significant transition to a rock and roll band, which played a crucial role in their rise to fame. Their single Please Me captured the attention of many listeners and helped solidify their place in music history. This success led to their famous television appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show, which introduced them to millions of viewers across America. Their unique sound and energetic performances quickly won over fans, setting the stage for the band's future hits and their lasting influence on music. The combination of Epstein's management skills and Martin's production expertise created a formula for success that would change the music scene forever. The band's innovative approach and catchy songs energized young audiences and established them as key figures in popular music. Their evolution as a rock and roll band marked a pivotal moment, transforming the landscape of music in the 1960s and beyond. The assassination of John Lennon in 1980 shocked the world and left a void in the music industry. Despite his successful solo career, his legacy with the Beatles remained strong. However, the publishing rights to their songs were no longer his. Instead, ATV Music owned the Beatles' catalog, a fact that would have significant implications for the remaining Beatles. In the early 1980s, Michael Jackson, a fan of the Beatles and a successful musician in his own right, expressed interest in purchasing ATV Music. Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono, John Lennon's widow, were also approached about buying the company, but they declined due to the high asking price. At the time, McCartney was focused on his own music and did not see the value in owning the publishing rights to the Beatles' songs. Despite McCartney's initial reluctance, the idea of owning the Beatles' catalog remained in the back of his mind. In 1995, he and the other surviving Beatles finally regained control of their music through a deal with Michael Jackson. By that time, Jackson had become a close friend of McCartney's, and the two often collaborated on music together. The story of John Lennon's death and the Beatles' catalog is a reminder of the enduring legacy of the Beatles and the importance of controlling one's own work. Despite the high price tag, the publishing rights to the Beatles songs have proven to be a valuable asset, one that continues to generate revenue and bring joy to fans around the world. Today, the music of the Beatles and Paul McCartney remains as popular as ever, with new generations discovering their timeless songs and classic sound. And while John Lennon may no longer be with us, His music and legacy live on, inspiring and entertaining fans around the world. In 1985, Michael Jackson's lawyer, John Branca, took a significant step that would impact the music industry. He reached out to Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono with the intention of purchasing the Beatles' music catalog. However, both parties showed little interest in the offer. Subsequently, Michael Jackson went ahead and sealed the deal, purchasing the catalog for a staggering $47.5 million. The music artist, Paul McCartney, was taken aback by his friend's actions. He felt a sense of betrayal, as he believed it was unfair for a friend to make such a move. This purchase led to a strained relationship between the two music legends, who had previously collaborated on various projects. Despite the music artist's initial reaction, the sale of the Beatles catalog proved to be a shrewd business move for Michael Jackson. The catalog included some of the most iconic songs in music history, such as Hey Jude and Let It Be, which continued to generate revenue for the King of Pop. However, the music artist's discontent lingered, and the two icons' friendship never fully recovered. The purchase of the Beatles catalog by Michael Jackson remains a significant moment in music history, highlighting the complex relationships between artists and the business side of the industry. The music artist Paul McCartney had a difference of opinion with fellow musician Michael Jackson regarding the use of Beatles songs as a business asset. While Jackson saw potential in licensing the songs for commercials, McCartney was against this idea, feeling that it commercialized their music. This disagreement highlights the varying perspectives on the value and purpose of musical intellectual property. In 1985, Michael Jackson made a significant move in the music industry when he purchased ATV Music Publishing, which owned the publishing rights to over 4,000 songs, including 250 written by the members of the Beatles. This acquisition gave Jackson control over how these iconic songs were used and monetized. However, this also meant that McCartney no longer had complete ownership of his own compositions. Years later, in 1995, Michael Jackson decided to sell half of ATV to Sony for a staggering $95 million, creating a joint venture called Sony ATV. This partnership further solidified the control over the Beatles songbook, making it difficult for McCartney to exercise influence over the usage of his own creations. The formation of Sony ATV marked a turning point in the management and exploitation of music copyrights, leading to increased scrutiny over who controls and benefits from the profits generated by legendary musicians' works. As a result, debates surrounding artist royalties and creative autonomy continued to shape the modern music landscape. Furthermore, in 2017, Paul McCartney settled with Sony ATV to reclaim Beatles song rights, starting in October 2018, under the U.S. Copyright Act of 1976. After Michael Jackson's death in 2009, his estate cleared his debts, generating over $1 billion through strategic deals, including selling future music rights to Sony for $250 million. In a heartening display of unity, Paul McCartney was recently spotted with Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter, at a Stella McCartney fashion show. This sighting suggests a thawing of relations between the two musical dynasties, potentially paving the way for further collaboration and understanding. The music artist's legal battles have also yielded positive results lately. After years of litigation, McCartney finally regained ownership of several Beatles classics in 2017. These timeless tunes, which he had co-written with John Lennon and George Harrison, now belong solely to him, marking a significant victory in his quest to reclaim his creative legacy. This development allows the musician greater control over how these iconic songs are used and monetized, ensuring they continue to resonate with fans worldwide while respecting his original intent. For those who cherish the Fab Four's indelible contribution to popular music, this news comes as a welcome step in preserving their enduring impact on the genre. It remains to be seen what plans the artist has for these newly recovered compositions, but one thing is certain, they will undoubtedly remain a vibrant part of our cultural landscape for generations to come. Born on June 18, 1942, in Liverpool, England, Paul McCartney was raised in a humble household by his father, Jim, a trumpet player and jazz band leader, and his mother, Mary, a midwife. From an early age, music filled the McCartney home. Jim's musical influence played a significant role in shaping Paul's interest in music and nurturing his innate talents. As a teenager, Paul attended the Liverpool Institute High School for Boys, where he met George Harrison. Their shared passion for music led them to form a bond that would later result in one of the most successful songwriting partnerships in history. Through his friendship with John Lennon, whom he met at a church fete in 1957, Paul was introduced to skiffle, a genre that blends elements of blues, folk, and jazz, which became another essential ingredient in the formation of their iconic sound. The Beatles' rise to fame began when they were discovered by Brian Epstein, a local record store owner, who became their manager in 1961. Under Epstein's guidance, the group refined their image and honed their skills, ultimately leading to their breakthrough success. During these early years, Paul drew inspiration from various artists, including Little Richard, Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley, and Chuck Berry, incorporating diverse styles into his own unique approach to songwriting. Throughout his career, Paul has continued to evolve as a musician, experimenting with different genres while maintaining his distinctive voice and style. His work as a solo artist, member of Wings, and collaborator with numerous other musicians has left an indelible mark on modern popular music. Despite the passage of time, Paul McCartney remains a vital force in the industry, inspiring generations of musicians and fans alike. Music had always been a part of Paul McCartney's life, even before he could fully understand it. As a young boy, he found himself captivated by the sounds of rock and roll, thanks to his father who introduced him to the genre. One particular moment, however, stood out as the spark that ignited his passion for music. It was in 1957 when Paul was just 14 years old. He was at a friend's house, where he saw a guitar for the first time. His friend showed him a few chords, and Paul was instantly hooked. He begged his mother for a guitar, and she eventually bought him a cheap one from a local shop. From that day forward, Paul spent countless hours teaching himself how to play. He would lock himself in his room, strumming away at his guitar, trying to mimic the sounds of his favorite artists. He practiced tirelessly, and his dedication paid off. By the time he was 15, he had already written his first song, I Lost My Little Girl. Paul's passion for music only grew stronger as he got older. He met John Lennon in 1957, and the two formed a bond that would change the course of music history. Together, they formed the Beatles, which would become one of the most successful and influential bands of all time. Throughout his career, Paul has continued to push the boundaries of music, experimenting with different genres and styles. His passion for music has never waned, and he continues to inspire generations of musicians with his talent and creativity. In the end, it was that fateful day in 1957 when Paul first discovered his passion for music. It was a spark that ignited a fire within him, a fire that continues to burn brightly to this day. Born into modest beginnings in Liverpool, England, Paul McCartney's journey to stardom was marked by numerous obstacles. Financial struggles were prevalent in his early life, especially after his mother's untimely death when he was just 14. Despite these hardships, music became his solace, showcasing his innate resilience even at a young age. While pursuing his passion for music, McCartney encountered significant industry skepticism due to his working-class background. Critics often underestimated his potential, labeling him as merely a lucky product of Britain's emerging youth culture. However, rather than letting it deter him, McCartney used this disbelief as fuel to hone his craft meticulously. Forming the Quarrymen, which would later evolve into the iconic band The Beatles, brought forth new sets of challenges. Struggling to secure gigs, they played in small clubs and bars until manager Brian Epstein recognized their raw talent and polished them into a refined act. Even then, record labels initially rejected them, deeming their sound too different from typical pop music. But persistence paid off when EMI's Parlophone finally signed them. Once successful, the Beatles still faced backlash, from conservative groups opposing their unconventional style to relentless press scrutiny during their tours. Nevertheless, they persevered through innovative songwriting and groundbreaking albums like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, transforming popular music forever. Post-Beatles, McCartney continued overcoming adversity, launching a prosperous solo career despite initial doubts about his ability to thrive sans the band. His determination led to countless hits, Grammy Awards, and recognition as one of the greatest musicians ever. Through thick and thin, Paul McCartney demonstrated tenacity and creativity, turning every challenge into opportunity. After the Beatles split in 1970, Paul McCartney faced new challenges as a solo artist. His debut album, McCartney, released in 1970, showcased his songwriting prowess and marked a significant breakthrough. George Martin, the Beatles' producer, praised McCartney for his confident and uncluttered sound. In 1971, McCartney and his wife, Linda, formed Wings, which became one of the most successful bands of the 1970s. Their album Band on the Run was a major turning point, garnering critical acclaim and commercial success. Guitarist Henry McCullough, who played on the album, described it as magical, highlighting the band's spontaneous creativity. A pivotal moment in McCartney's career came in 1980 with the release of McCartney 2. The album, recorded at his home studio, featured experimental sounds and showcased his versatility as an artist. Critic John Landau hailed it as a major work, praising McCartney's restless creative spirit. In 1982, McCartney collaborated with Stevie Wonder on the hit single Ebony and Ivory, a testament to their mutual respect and friendship. Wonder described McCartney as a genius and a beautiful person. In the late 1980s, McCartney shifted his focus to classical music, releasing the critically acclaimed The Liverpool Oratorio. Conductor Carl Davis, who worked with McCartney on the project, lauded his extraordinary ability to grasp complex musical concepts. Throughout his career, Paul McCartney has continued to push boundaries and reinvent himself, earning the admiration of peers and critics alike. His ability to adapt to new styles and genres has solidified his status as a true icon in the music industry. Drawing from his humble beginnings in Liverpool, Paul McCartney's artistic vision has been significantly shaped by his life experiences. As a member of the Beatles, he contributed to revolutionary changes in popular music. Even after the band's breakup, McCartney continued to push musical boundaries through his solo career and collaborations. McCartney's creative process often begins with a basic idea, which could stem from a melody, lyric, or even just a feeling. He then builds upon this foundation, layering instruments and vocals to create a richly textured sound. His ability to seamlessly blend different genres, such as rock, pop, classical, and electronic elements, results in a distinctive, captivating style. A significant aspect of McCartney's approach is his willingness to experiment with new sounds and technology. This adventurous spirit has led him to incorporate unconventional instruments and techniques into his recordings. For instance, he used animal noises on the Beatles, and later employed synthesizers and digital effects on his solo works. Personal relationships have also played a crucial role in shaping McCartney's artistry. Collaborations with fellow musicians like John Lennon, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, and his second wife Linda McCartney allowed him to explore various perspectives and own his craft further. These interactions influenced both the lyrical content and overall direction of many songs throughout his discography. Throughout his career, Paul McCartney has addressed themes ranging from love and friendship to social issues and introspection. By drawing from personal experiences and observations, his lyrics resonate with listeners across generations. Furthermore, his commitment to activism, particularly in areas such as animal rights and environmental conservation, has added depth and meaning to his body of work. Ultimately, Paul McCartney's artistic vision and process remain intertwined with his own journey. From groundbreaking contributions during the British invasion to continuous innovation throughout his solo career, he leaves behind an indelible mark on contemporary music. With each new project, fans continue to anticipate the next chapter in this ever-evolving story. After all, it seems there will always be another melodic fragment around the corner waiting to become a classic Paul McCartney tune. Paul McCartney, a musical legend, has significantly shaped the music industry. As a member of the Beatles, he contributed to a revolutionary change in pop music during the 1960s. His melodic bass lines and thoughtful lyrics have inspired countless musicians and bands. McCartney's influence extends beyond his music. He has been a driving force in the industry, constantly pushing boundaries and exploring new techniques. For instance, he introduced the concept of songwriting as a collaborative effort within the Beatles, which has since become an industry standard. Industry experts and fellow musicians alike have praised McCartney's impact. According to producer Rick Rubin, Paul McCartney has one of the greatest sets of songwriting skills of anybody who's ever walked this earth. Musician St. Vincent echoes this sentiment, stating, "Paul McCartney has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember." Moreover, McCartney has influenced storytelling in music. His ability to convey emotions and tell stories through his lyrics has set a high bar for songwriters. As music journalist Rob Sheffield puts it, Paul McCartney is a master storyteller, and his songs have a way of getting inside your head and heart. In addition to his contributions to pop and rock music, McCartney has also dabbled in classical music, electronic music, and even opera. His versatility and willingness to experiment have inspired generations of musicians to explore new genres and techniques. In conclusion, Paul McCartney's contributions to the music industry are immeasurable. His innovative songwriting, collaborative spirit, and genre blending have left a lasting impact on the industry and continue to inspire musicians today. Paul McCartney, a legendary music artist, is known for his work with the Beatles and his successful solo career. But what about his life outside of music? McCartney is a dedicated animal rights activist and has been a vegetarian since the 1970s. He has used his platform to raise awareness about animal cruelty and has even advocated for meat-free Mondays. In fact, his love for animals has influenced his music, with several songs featuring animal-friendly messages. In addition to his activism, McCartney is also passionate about education and the arts. He has supported various educational initiatives, including music programs in schools. He has also been involved in the arts community, serving as a patron of the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts. McCartney's philanthropic efforts extend beyond animal rights and education. He has been involved in numerous charitable organizations and campaigns, including the One Voice campaign for peace and the Adopt a Minefield campaign to clear landmines. He has also used his music to raise awareness and funds for various causes, such as disaster relief and cancer research. It's clear that McCartney's personal values and interests inform his work both on and off the stage. His dedication to animal rights, education, and various charitable causes show that he is not just a talented musician, but also a compassionate and engaged member of society. Paul McCartney's musical journey, spanning over 6 decades, has left an indelible mark on the industry. As a member of the Beatles, he helped shape the sound of popular music in the 1960s. His songwriting prowess alongside John Lennon resulted in timeless classics like Hey Jude, Let It Be, and Yesterday. Even after the breakup of the Beatles, McCartney continued to push boundaries with Wings and his solo career. Having sold more than 100 million records worldwide, McCartney remains one of the most commercially successful musicians ever. He was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 1997 for services to music, further solidifying his status as a national treasure. Yet despite these accolades, Sir Paul remains humble and dedicated to his craft. Looking ahead, it seems inevitable that McCartney will continue contributing to the music landscape. At 80 years young, he shows no signs of slowing down. In recent years, he's embraced technology, collaborating with younger artists, and experimenting with different genres. This willingness to evolve while staying true to himself sets a powerful example for up-and-coming musicians. For those just starting out, McCartney offers sage advice: just do what you do best. For him, this means writing honest songs from the heart. It also involves being adaptable and learning to work within various constraints. After all, some of the Beatles' biggest hits were written in cramped hotel rooms or makeshift studios. Moreover, McCartney stresses the importance of collaboration. Many of his greatest achievements came through partnerships, whether with Lennon, George Harrison, Ringo Starr, or his late wife Linda. By surrounding yourself with talented individuals, you can elevate each other's artistry and create something truly special. Finally, never underestimate the power of perseverance. The road to success is often filled with setbacks and disappointments, but as McCartney demonstrates, resilience and determination can lead to extraordinary outcomes. So keep dreaming, working hard, and above all, believe in yourself. Paul McCartney's journey in the music industry is a testament to the power of creativity and perseverance. From his early days with the Beatles, where he honed his craft and helped shape the landscape of popular music, to his successful solo career, McCartney has always been at the forefront of innovation. His passion for music has never waned, even in the face of personal loss and changing trends. He has continued to push boundaries, experimenting with different genres and styles while remaining true to his roots. Throughout his career, McCartney has left an indelible mark on the entertainment industry. His music has resonated with generations of fans, and his influence can be heard in the work of countless artists who have followed in his footsteps. But beyond his musical accomplishments, McCartney's enduring impact can also be seen in his advocacy for social issues and his commitment to giving back to the community. He has used his platform to raise awareness for causes he believes in and to make the world a better place. In the end, Paul McCartney's journey is a reminder that with passion, innovation, and perseverance, anyone can leave a lasting impact on the world. His creativity and dedication have not only shaped the music industry, but have also inspired countless others to pursue their dreams and make a difference. Without a doubt, Sir Paul McCartney is a true legend in the music industry. With a career spanning over 6 decades, he has left an indelible mark on the world of entertainment. Born on June 18, 1942, in Liverpool, England, McCartney was part of the iconic band, the Beatles, which transformed the landscape of popular music in the 1960s. After the Beatles disbanded in 1970, McCartney embarked on a successful solo career, forming the band Wings with his late wife, Linda. His music has always been diverse, from the rock and roll sounds of the Beatles to the pop hits of Wings, and even exploring classical music in his later years. One of the most remarkable aspects of McCartney's career is his ability to remain relevant and continue to create new music that resonates with fans of all ages. His work has transcended generations, and his impact on music is still felt today. Now, we want to hear from you. What are your favorite Paul McCartney songs or moments from his career? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content celebrating the creative spirits shaping entertainment. Together, let's continue to cherish the enduring legacy of this musical